Well, hi there. I'm Diane Hesselbein, Representative Diane Hesselbein, representing the 79th Assembly District. I want to thank all of you for being here today. I'm pleased to introduce someone who needs no introduction, John Sly Sylvester.
Good morning, everybody. I've got some bad news for Scott Walker. And every other politician that refuses to be honest and forthright with the public. The reason we're having this moment today is because there are a lot of people in the media, and I see a lot of media cameras here today, whether it be television or radio. We've seen a disintegration of local radio, local television coverage, local newspapers, and we're going to reverse the trend today because as of February 4th, I will be back on the radio broadcasting not just to Madison, but to Janesville, to Beloit, to Dodgeville, to Dubuque, to Rockford, to Freeport, to Monroe. So, Scott Thompson, the owner of WEKZ in Monroe, who is a beautiful 36,000-watt radio station that covers the entire area, called me in the middle of December, and he said, "How'd you like to come work for me?" And I said, "Well, you play oldies." Of course, I'm kind of an oldie myself. And he said, "No, I would like you to take what you've done in Madison and put it on a larger platform." And Scott's a unique individual in that so many other radio stations, such as Scott's with nice signals, have been sold out to big corporations and they've abandoned their community. He didn't do that, and he's not doing that now. We're just expanding the conversation to Madison and Janesville and Beloit and Dubuque. And workers are going to have a voice again in an area that they so desperately need it. I can't thank people enough for reaching out to me and getting involved in this effort. And I know things didn't take the exact route that we thought they would, but frankly, this platform is bigger, it's locally owned, and fortunately, Scott is fighting the tide, which includes outsourcing and eliminating jobs. He provides news on that station 7 days a week with 5 reporters. And now there's going to be more local talk in this area, not just for Madison, but the surrounding area. And I want to thank everybody right up here that's standing with me and everybody that's helped in this effort. It is going to be my pleasure because I've been just chomping at the bit to talk. Can you imagine a mouth as big as mine being silenced for 6 weeks? Thank you very much. Let me introduce, are we going to introduce Judd here first? Judd. This is Judd Lonsbury. Judd and his wife Katie have been just so helpful. They live in Greene County. Katie's my attorney and is a friend of Scott Thompson's, and that's how we kind of ended up hooking up on this thing. But I've known Judd for a long time, and he's been involved in this effort to get me back on the radio. Judd, thank you.
Yeah. A lot of you don't know this, but Sly here is actually the secret love child of Mike Royko and John Candy. On the one hand, he uses his crude, very crude, but funny, always funny, sense of humor to fearlessly and incisively defend the little guy and to really, really get under the skin of the powers that be. In Sly's 30 years on the air, he has created a place where the left and the right, the populace and the highbrow, can get together and discuss the issues of the day. Glenn Grothman, Scott Walker, and many other conservatives over the years have been regular guests on Sly's show. And not only that, Sly routinely not only lets conservative callers in on the conversation, but he puts them right to the front of the line. While programming is important, this is what makes Sly's show so unique. He's a populist progressive, but he gives everyone a chance to discuss their point of view. And that's why we've been we so desperately missed Sly's voice on the airwaves the last month and a half. And we're so glad to learn that Sly will be on one of the Midwest's largest FM stations, and we'll have the ability to reach new audiences from northeast Iowa to northern Illinois, and while at the same time, he'll keeping us in southern Wisconsin and here in Madison informed, amused, and, of course, perpetually offended.
It has been such an honor to be part of this movement with so many people and so many of you here in this audience as well. I was co-founder of Give Sly the Mic because it has been a quiet 6 weeks. There have been things happening on the national level with the shootings in Newtown, to things happening right here in the state capitol last week with new assembly rules and what people are supposed to wear, what they can't wear. And I have been missing that voice every morning, every day, of Sly telling me his thoughts on what was going on. Fortunately, I have a cell phone number so I can call him. But all of Wisconsin isn't so lucky. So I am grateful, so grateful, that he will have his voice back and that the middle-class workers of Wisconsin will be represented once again.
Let me just say I want to thank all my sponsors, like AMS and Kate's, AFSCME, Axley Law Firm, DiMaggio Service Center, that have stood with me. They all came over, and I'm not sure I made it clear. I'm beyond afternoon drive now, from 3 to 6:30. I think there may have been someone. Is there another talk show on in the afternoon in this? I don't think we have one, so we'll have one now. I want to introduce someone who's going to just briefly mention, and there's kind of a interesting convergence here. My brother-in-arms, Ed Sedlowski Jr., who is just a treasure to the labor movement, is going to be starting with AFSCME Council 31 in Illinois. And he's just going to say for a minute, talk about the Illinois component for just a moment, and how the workers struggle really. There is no line between Illinois and Wisconsin. I think Pat Quinn's about to find out I'm pretty hard on Democrats, too.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm privileged to work on behalf of working people, and unfortunately, given the predicament here and the inherent need to reform the labor movement as well, even within our own state, I've been compelled to accept employment. Currently, my turf runs along the Illinois border, most of the counties there, and I think what Sly has brought to our struggle in the last few years with the focus on stories. What's really happening to the snowplow driver who reports at 2 a.m. to clean the streets? What's happening to the correctional officer at night when they lose 10 holidays in Kenosha? What happens to the nursing home worker when their rights are stripped on the job? People who are caring for the sick and the elderly. It's been Sly who's kept their story in the forefront. And I've been lucky enough that he's reached out to me on occasion. I've threatened to charge him as a stringer, finding stories. But it's those workers' stories that are so compelling and are so necessary and vital to getting back what's been taken from everyone here in our great state. Anyway, I'm going to be in Rockford and Freeport now, privileged to make a living there. If you haven't been following it, please, you'll find out more, I'm sure, about what the Democratic Party in Illinois is doing to working families. AFSCME's not been afraid to take on anyone who's not, willing to advance the agenda of working families. Parties be damned, and now, lucky enough for us, borders be damned. So I look forward to continuing to be a good friend with Sly, and that's forever, and I'm just privileged to be here. Thank you. Chris,
Melissa, Diane, Marty, John, Kevin, Judd. And former State Senator Joe Winnicky is going to teach me about every nick and cranny in Greene County because it was part of his district. And you just might hear him on the radio once in a while, too. I'm going to give him a pair of headphones. If you need any information on what's going on in the interim, slysoffice.com is my website and the place to go, and my Facebook page, John Sly Sylvester, for the updates on what's going to be going on. The station will be streamed. There'll be an app and everything else. So no matter where you go, you'll be able to, just like the previous, only it's a beautiful FM signal. Thank you, everybody, for coming today.